I want you to understand as Black Americans what's really going on. So, what I notice is you have some racist Republican blacks trying to use their racist Republican black faces to tether their way into mayonnaise approval, right? And as a longtime black conservative from the hood, from the block, well researched, I wanted to bring some honesty to your ears and your brain. If you want to make a donation, you know you can do that through the King of Classy. You can also do that through the Patreon monthly. Um, I'll drop the link. I see Chaos Rain is here. Hopefully, he's read up on this. You know, we want you black people, women and men and women, sons and nephews, to be well researched. Don't just have feelings. Don't have an opinion. A lot of you black people want to have talking points and you want to get on these microphones and say stuff about how you feel. You need to know data. Okay. So I'm going to start off. Now, normally I start off at 1917 because 1917 is important. And when I'm around scholarly people, I tap into the Ottoman Empire and how they transferred power to the League of Nations. The League of Nations is the precursor to your UN. How do I know all this? I read. I read. I just don't listen to the TV and let the TV tell me what I need to know. I actually read data. All right. So, with that said, here's what's going on. Now again, normally I'll start at the Ottoman Empire and how they controlled everything and the people that were left there. So let's understand this. A matter of fact, you can even go back to the Bronze Age. The whole allegedly, King David came out of Moab. You can get on a UC Berkeley stage and disagree with me if you wish, but allegedly, King David came out of Moab. Look at Moab, Moab, where it is on the map, as opposed to Israel, where it is on the map. So let's be clear. Much of the place that's in dispute is not where the original Israel is. The original Israel was above the Dead Sea, not right next to it. But I digress. Let's not get caught up in that. Let's pull out the maps and see where the 600 BC Israel is sitting. Let's not just talk and make long speeches. Let's just pull out the maps. So, with that said, and you guys go research this stuff, come up to your own conclusion, but I want to give you the data. So, with that said, the Ottoman Empire controlled everything. When they left, uh, then you had the remnants of people who stayed. Some Jews stayed. It went over to the League of Nations, i.e., the UN. And then the UN gave it to Britain. Now here's where the problem comes in. Because see, England, with all their education throughout history, they tend to create problems where there is no problems. All right. It doesn't matter whether it's the Zulus. It don't matter whether it's Madagascar. It don't matter whether it's these constant fights with France. England tends to just create fistfights. So England decides, because like I tell you guys, whiteness is a funny thing. Okay. Uh, England is, now this is before Hitler's war. England is just in love with German Jews, England is in love with Russian Jews. England loves this Jewish concept so much that it comes up with this great idea. Since we're taking over Palestine, why don't we just pull guns on these people and force them to accept the people that we ship over there? Yeah, that's a policy. England pull out their guns and we're going to shoot and kill anybody that don't like the fact that we're bringing people over here. Because they, as a Russian, has classified himself as Jewish. They, as a Spanish person, has classified themselves as Jewish. Now, we're not going to let the darker Jewish people come. We're not going to do that. So you black prisoners of Hitler that are in the concentration camps, y'all can't come. And since this is before Hitler that they're doing this, any of you Jews with the darker skin, y'all can't come. But we, as English people in our wisdom, we're going to only look for the fair-skinned people, Russians, Polish, anybody that want to claim that they're Ukrainian. Hey, you know, we're going to let that rock. Interesting. All right. So they pull out their guns and they tell the Palestinians, hey, look, this is how we're going to do it. So flash to 1932. Everybody likes skipping over 1932. You'll see Prager University skip over it and go to 1936. And I'll get to 1936. But what happened is 1932, you had 9,000 plus Jewish immigrants in 1932. Now you may have you may have had some people come over from Iraq. You may, but generally you had 9,000. This is according to Britain's own records. Okay, Britain then pulls out their guns, keeps the Palestinians at bay, and ships in 320,000 more Jewish claiming $5 Indian, $5 Indian, $5 Indian, Jewish claiming fair-skinned human beings under duress of gun within 3 years. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. So I'm not blaming Israel or Palestine. England's the real problem here. Because they sat up here, pulled out their guns, shipped people in, and then left. So 1936, when people bring that up, the Arab revolt was against England, not the Jews. Let me say it one more time, because it's documented. People who love Israel will lie to you and say that it was totally about being against the Jews. It was about England pointing guns, forcing this situation to happen. That's what it was about. Because it wasn't organic. It wasn't like the people just came there and tried to adhere with the people who were already there. England pulled out their guns. This is something you're not going to hear from other people. If you like to donate, go ahead and donate, because you know you haven't heard this before. England pulled out the guns and turned it from 9,500 Jews into 320 within 3 years. You yourself would get highly upset if you were in Chicago, which is something that's kind of happening now to Chicago and New York, and you only had 5,000 immigrants, but the City Hall of Chicago puts in 250 of them. That's a problem. That's a problem. You've never heard this before. Go look it up. Go look it up. This is why I put the snippet here. 1932, you only had 9,000 plus. And within 3 years, they shoot that up to 320,000. England did that. The Jewish immigrants didn't do that on their own. They just didn't travel there and say, "Hey, Palestinians, how you doing? I'd like to come and live with Israel." No, no. England actually pulled out their guns and started firing. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. So the Arab revolt was because England had forced these people to come over. And people always say skin color don't matter. Africans always say black is just a color. No, these things happen strategically because of skin color. Britain didn't fight for the darker skinned Jews. Britain didn't fight for the brown Jews. Britain had one demographic they shipped over. And they didn't care if it was a Russian Jew, and this is documented because we have Russian Jews who came over on the ship, and I'll get to that on another video. They didn't care if it was a Spaniard Jew, as long as they was light skinned. Britain didn't care. Ukrainian Jews, Polish Jews, they didn't care as long as you had the skin color. It was the same thing that happened in Miami here in America, when Miami would say, "Hey, if you're a darker skinned Cuban, you got to go back. But if you're a lighter skinned Cuban, you can stay." That was a real thing. That was a real thing. Like I said, if donate to the King of Classy, man. You don't hear this type of information. You don't hear these type of breakdown, but this is what it is. This is what it is. And this is why I gave you a snippet on the screen. I ain't give you a bunch of movie stuff. You need to know the data. The data is 1932, England pulled out their guns and shipped 320,000 people into the region. Because 1932, there was only 9,000 plus Jews there. This is the sad part about this whole thing. Because England, see, this is why you got to say about policy. It's the same thing I'm doing with the Jimmy Carter thing. You can't go and create an oil crisis and then 4 years later blame Jimmy Carter. You never should have removed the legally elected Iranian president in the first place. You never should have put the Shah there in the first place. And when the Shah got removed, that's not Jimmy Carter's fault. That's not Jimmy Carter's fault. He can't go just tell the people you got to accept the Shah. But that's neither here nor there. My point I'm making right here is that when you go research 1932, you'll see that Prager University's lying, Pew Research is lying. A lot of people are lying. Because in 1936, the Arab Revolt was all about England pointing these guns at Palestinians. That's what it was about. Now, you're going to hear these other people say, well, there was no such thing as Palestine. It's only about the name. Okay. So this is where I'm going to end this video and say this. In the Bronze Age, from Moab all the way up to where Lebanon starts, all that was Judah. All that was Judea. So if you're trying to say that was the Israeli Empire, that would include the Palestinian area as well. Because what? The Phoenicians were there. Or some people want to pronounce it Phoenicians. I'm just apples, oranges, oranges. But for the Phoenicians were there. So this is all a very deep thing. England created this whole problem. Chaos Rain, how are you, sir?
I'm doing.
I hope it's going good. What
I was
are
just
you?
listening. I was just listening and just gathering the information that you're saying in regards to the history, and how if you're darker skinned, most likely you're not gonna get no assistance, no help. Man, for they will work extra hard to either cage you or banish you from areas where they are somewhat the majority and we the majority. In other words, in simple terms, keep the color line, white as possible. That's how I
Well,
look at it.
that's the point I was making. Shout out to C Miles in the building. This is the information most people don't talk about because let's just do the math. In 1932, according to British documentation, you only have 9,000 Jewish immigrants there.
Um,
Let them come organically to the land. Let them get on the boat. Let them walk in. Don't pull out a gun and ship Jews over there. And in 3 years, it goes from 9,000 to 320,000. Don't do that.
mm,
So when the 1936 Arab revolt happened, it wasn't against the Israels, it was against the people with the guns, the
yeah,
British.
yeah.
But the Israel people, and this is why I tell black folks, don't tell me about playing victim when I'm trying to get reparations. Because if Israel people do the exact same thing, and notice I'm calling them Israel. I'm not using the other word because I know they got friends on YouTube to demonetize. So I'm saying the word Israel. If Israel people do the exact same victimhood conversation, then for all you blacks who are constantly saying don't be a victim, open your mouth now. But you know what blacks will say, chaos? Well, I
What
don't
they was
care about them. I just care about black people. Well, if you only care about black people, that means you're only trying to police one people.
mm-hmm.
You're not trying to be consistent to all humans. You are the Ku Klux Klan because you're trying to stop a conversation you disagree with because you want to make it a bubble conversation.
mm,
So this is the inconsistency with black folks. When you hear these other people play victim, you don't say nothing. Well, I don't care about that. I just care about blacks. That's an oxymoron. How can you care about blacks and you only talk about the black experience, but you don't have the courage to talk about Asians when they do it? You don't have the courage to talk about Russians when they do it. No, you want to be the police for black people. Where did I get it wrong, Chaos?
You didn't get it wrong. I mean, you're right on point. And it shows how our powerlessness has consequence. As you could tell, people that have power, they exercise it with option and with aggression. Even when you like use the words from the people that run like Israel and stuff, how much that you can't even say an inch of the word, even covering it. And you know me, I don't cover too much politics on my main channel for whatever reason. There's good reason why I don't do that, but really truly, when I look at it, I look at it as a great distraction. Can I think about it and say, all right, you want people in the West to have sympathy that are not part of these people, right? Okay, what have they benefit United States or benefit people here in America? That's the question I want to ask first. If people can't give me a clear answer, then they are parasites. Nations. I mean,
Well,
and
just to be clear, I don't mind Israel people doing what they do, but let's be clear. Is a Russian guy Israel?
Israel.
Is a guy from Spain Israel? Is a Ukrainian Israel? The answer is yes,
mm,
because Israel has three different definitions. See, that's the
mm,
crazy part.
okay.
Israel, it's like saying an Arab. If an Arab had three definitions, they would be able to say, because I claim Arab, therefore I am, because I practice Islam, therefore I am Arab, and because I'm of the ethnicity of an Arab mother, therefore I'm Arab. Israel does the same thing. You can be Russian, but because you practice, therefore you are, and you got the skin color. Now, Israel people will say, well, they have to be born of an Israel mother. Okay, anybody can claim that because they got the skin color. Anybody can say that.
Mm-hmm.
So you could say the great 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 grandmother was Israel. Who's going to deny it? Because the region is or was Israel. The Ukrainian region was Israel. The German region was Israel. So who's going to deny it? So
Yeah.
you can't be Whoopi Goldberg and claim Israel, even though you're a practicing is. You're practicing it, but
Mm-hmm.
it don't work like Christianity. Because then they're gonna say, well, you got to be born of. So when you have Amari Stoudemire saying what he's saying, sir, you can't even go to Israel and date one of their people. That's how much they don't like you.
I know, ain't that crazy? And you're defending them. But let's know how much. I'm not sure Amari is miseducated or he just flat out ignorant.
No, no, no. It happens to a lot of young people. How old are you, Chaos?
Well, I don't want to reveal that.
No,
I
okay.
would say I'm a millennial.
20s,
I'm a
20s,
millennial.
20s.
Nah, man, I'm much older than that. I'm a
Okay,
millennial.
okay. Let's just call it 29. Okay. So what happens with younger people? They
Mm-hmm.
go off current information that makes them feel good and they don't dig.
Mm-hmm.
That is what all younger people tend to do. They go off current information and they don't dig. It's like the Black Israelite brothers. They'll get on the
Yeah.
microphone, say all this stuff, and I'm not knocking them. But because they don't get enough followers or new members, now they start doing all these antics. Now they start getting confrontational. Then when Brother Polite and other people get busted and it makes their image look bad, they don't come to the forefront to clear it up. They don't know. They just stay in the shadows. It's the same thing. You can't do it like that if you're
Mm-hmm.
serious about advancement and helping folks. Or the brothers in the is brothers who wear the purple jackets. They go to places to disrupt. You can't do it on your own, so you'll go to peaceful places, you and 30 other brothers, and just set up with a loud microphone and just start yelling. What does the word say?
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to do that on your own. You're going into other people. How about
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter? Me and MOT talked about that earlier. Black Lives Matter of Chicago. It's mostly, I think there's one black man on the entire thing, and he's probably feminine. The rest of them
Mm-hmm.
are white women and Latin women. And there's 3 black women there. Who black? This is Chicago Black Lives Matter. Where the brothers? But I'm gonna tell you where the brothers at, Chaos.
Hear that?
2004. Man, we need more sisters here, man. We can't make no movement without the women. Nah, brother, we gonna keep this a all black men. No, man, I want a fist fight now. I want the women. I gotta help the women. The women. We can't make no moves without the women. And the women's like,
Because they've
oh yeah,
been led.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. We got one stupid idiot. So let's kick out all the brothers. And then after we kick out all the brothers, we'll kick him out too. And
Mm-hmm.
now we'll run it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go try to interview that stupid, idiotic brother. Man, I don't want to talk to no microphones. I don't want to be on record. But you was just ready to fist fight a whole other brothers for wanting to have an all black man situation. So chaos. This is why I say to people, don't tell me about supremacy. Don't tell me about they. They don't want us. They working to get most of it's black man created.
And no, actually, it's much deeper. A good portion of that will maintain it, just like the women. They will maintain this system. They will maintain this order, Mr. Research, because they, in their mind, think they cannot live or do anything outside without the assistance or the thinking of the non-black man. You know,
Right. Because look, that's why I got a couple of videos dropping. This is not black pride. Defund the hood, defund thugs. Uh
mm-hmm.
but somebody got to have the courage to say it,
Mm-hmm.
because we've been having childish dudes hide behind black pride for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for you to be breaking in nobody's car in 2023.
Yeah.
And you should be getting a 7-year, 8-year jail sentence for that. Not no 4 months, 7 months, a year and a half. No,
Mm-hmm.
you willingly decided you didn't want to go to McDonald's and get a $60,000 assistant manager job.
Or just start working and then work your way up to get to management eventually. You know.
I don't
Because
care.
some of them don't know about management. Let's keep real, Mr. Reacher. Some of this one, if they never work or don't know where to start, getting a job will be just a footnote. And
Well,
anything,
I keep pushing assistant manager, because you don't have to know about management going into assistant manager in fast food. They will teach you. There's an actual program at every fast food restaurant for assistant manager. It's been like that since.
why it's still available for automation complete take the chain over, but just solely here now. You get me? They just only have machines mostly run stuff. They might have some person watch it, but most likely they want just the machines run everything on these fast food places. You're aware of this, Mr. Research?
It will never happen.
You sure?
I've been in tech since the days of Vista at Microsoft. It will never happen.
And why is that? So why are these foolish black men from, I'm not gonna say the names, up here talking about this?
Some people are part of an industry that they like.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're part of the industry, they will say things like, let me pick something they said way back when.
Okay.
They said that by 1999, all computers will stop working because of the
Oh, you mean the Y2K? When it could then update it, and if it once hits a certain year, it'll crash the whole system. Okay, everything's on my computers at that time. From last my check. That's what they said. Yeah. They did say that. I mean, and I don't know if they. Well, I'm not going to tech. That was a long time ago. I think I was a teenager at that time. But yeah, I heard about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Did it happen?
No, it never happened.
Okay.
They said they were able to outward that, but we all know, that didn't make no sense. But I mean, when you're a young person, you don't know these things. If I was an adult back then, it probably would may make sense. But you probably were adults, so you probably got more of an understanding before I did. That was a long time. That was like 24 years ago. This research.
Did it happen?
No, but it didn't happen. No, it didn't happen.
Didn't they say it would?
They put the fear that it might if they don't do something.
Didn't they say it would happen?
Well, they said that's what they said, but really think about it from how it played out, it didn't happen.
So again, my premise holds true even in your rationale.
Okay.
People say stuff,
mm-hmm.
and it never happens. So here's the reason why it can't happen: because of underwriters.
Okay.
Everything in America is about lawsuits.
Yes, true.
Who do you sue if the computers run it?
Yeah, to sue the corporations.
Corporations not liable because they're going to say it's the computers.
Okay. So will they get if they're not liable?
Because it's not going to happen. Somebody has to be liable.
Okay.
It's the same reason that when you go to a the your self-serve computers where you can scan your own stuff.
Oh, you mean a self checkout type thing?
Same reason it gets shut down at night.
Hmm.
Haven't you ever been to a grocery store
Yes,
and
I
seen
have.
that it's shut down?
Yes, it shuts down as the store is about to wrap up, or they start shutting down some of them to have. Let's say they have 10 running. By the time the store is about to close, they'll have at least 3 or 4 running after that running. Self checkouts. They won't have all of them running because, for a reason, if you have too many running and let's say the store is somewhat packed or whatever, now they, depending on their budget, which they have the money, they have to really keep an eye out if people are self checking their groceries. And if not, they could walk away and steal easily and self checkout.
So I don't know which grocery stores you've been to, but most of the checkouts close down at 8.
Okay.
So
I'm in the East Coast, so you're in the West Coast, so it's probably different.
I used to live on the East Coast.
Okay. Okay.
Most of them shut down at 8, if not 9. And even if the store closed at 1 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
you when there's overflow, the manager will
Yes.
turn those things back on. Why?
Okay.
Because someone has to watch it. It can't just do it on its own.
Correct.
So, underwriters, nobody is going to insure food. Nobody is going to insure poisoning and everything else unless there's a human being that can testify and is legally responsible. If you just have a cook and computers run everything, bring it to the window, the whole 9, somebody's going to get. If something happens, somebody's going to get legally sued. You cannot have computers just running everything. Even the computers who are at the check stand requires the customer to do the work. The
Correct.
customer has to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
The computers don't do it. The customers do the work. So this whole fantasy, they had a fantasy about robot security guards. Do you see any robot security guards?
Oh no, I never heard that, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Okay, let's do driverless cars. I'm out here.
You know that right there. That's funny how I hear how they want that to play out, but I'm thinking with driverless cars. Let's say they implement right. My question is, if there's an accident, who do they sue? Because the machines malfunction and not everything is going to be so perfect. Correct?
You keep cutting me off. I was about to get to that point.
I'm sorry.
I'm out here in San Francisco. Every guy is behind the wheel. There is nobody just sitting in the back seat of a car. You know why? Because out here with the 8 different driverless car companies in San Francisco, there is a stipulation. You are responsible for what this vehicle does. How is it driverless if I'm responsible for what this vehicle does? You have to be sitting behind the wheel to use this. Why am I forced to sit behind the wheel if it's driverless? Why can't I sit in the back and work on my report? You are liable for it. It's in the darn app. You're reliable for anything this car does.
Interesting.
So that's not driverless. Now in China, they have the reverse.
Okay.
But guess what? It's a lot of deaths in China behind those cars.
Okay.
They don't have the legal system that we have to sue. So those deaths go unreported. It's just like when COVID happened and they was locking people up in their house, letting them die. That's a China thing. That wouldn't happen here. But go ahead with your question.
I would say with the driverless cars, and you have a point that I said this before that who they gonna sue if something happens, right? And I hear a lot of talk about the innovation of technology, but I'm not thinking with America because rather we have the infrastructure or not, there's some things that America is not willing to really do under capitalism if they really wanted to. Personally, um,
Well, the problem is that since Ronald Reagan, we have been making excuses for what capitalism does. It would be better if capitalism was to just pay their bill if they screw up. But that's not
I
what.
agree. I
But that's
agree. That's what should be the end result. If you screw up, you should pay, right?
go tell the people who love Ronald Reagan. Go tell. Have you watched the movie Inside Job yet?
When it was released, refresh me. 'Cause I think I might have
I
heard
keep
person.
telling you to watch the movie Inside Job. That's why everything is screwed up. It's because what happened is under Reagan, people got to take people's farms, destroy people's businesses, all that good stuff. Even the policies of Clinton. You got to sit up here and create a whole policy to get rid of union jobs.
Yeah.
We keep creating policies to help people get rich, and then people get rich and they don't create jobs. They just go buy a bigger boat.
Yeah. That's just crazy.
I just finished watching the James the Jamie Foxx movie Burial. Great movie. Great movie. I'm gonna do a review here. The Jamie Foxx movie Burial. All about them going against the death industry guy out of Canada. They got 175 million. They got awarded 400 million, but then he appealed and it went down to 175 million. But guess what? It's the same thing. Who did they go after in that movie? Black folks. So I'm going to go back to this 1932 because I got to edit this part out that you and I talked about. But in conclusion, this is why I created this video, to let people know the data. And every time I talk to you, Chaos, or anybody, I'm talking data, not feelings. So if people are talking about computers is going to take over this, here's one thing I'm going to guarantee you. Computers are going to end up replacing tech people at a high rate.
I agree. I heard a lot of tech people start losing their jobs once they have certain innovations.
Out here, we're at 23% tech loss now.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's bad.
It was 13% 2 years ago.
And now it's up. I got another extra 10%. I think 13. Yeah, almost jumped over 10% in the next year. And that means by the following, it's going to be up to 30. It's going to be more. It's going to be more. Once it passes anything 35% of anything, you're in the red zone.
And well, it doesn't matter if they leave because they're not indigenous to this place. MC Worker, man, I missed you, brother. Hope everything's going well with you, MC Worker, man. Shout out to you. But yeah, look. They're going to Texas so they can pay less taxes.
Yeah, that's best.
Okay, so that's another proof that they're not paying taxes, brother. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, brother. So it's this, people just keep saying, "Oh, they're gonna leave and go to India." So what? Tech doesn't provide nothing but entertainment. Yeah. Better porn. That's it. No, really, there's nothing. They don't grow better fruit. They don't do anything tech does. They actually got it from engineering, including maps. Maps comes from engineering. All they did was throw some visuals on it.
Okay.
GPS. Engineering first. I'll give them credit for the software, for the tracking software, but you're bouncing off the satellite that the American government has. MC Worker, how you doing, my brother?
Well, I'm at good morning, gentlemen.
Good
I'm
morning,
doing
man.
well. I'm doing well. Just to not derail what you're talking about, I have a new job. I'm in case management, but I also do project management, and I also hire people for a contract I'm overseeing. So I just want to let you know that. But
Excellent.
back to the top of the hat. And what's going on, Chaos Ring? Um,
Uh,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. It's very interesting how Iran did what I'm sorry, I believe Iran did what they did. They did. It had a huge play in it, and now you have people who are making it seem like Palestinians shouldn't be there, where they've been there since the beginning of time, pretty much, or at least let's see, the year 1402. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's just interesting how these ways of events play out, and everyone is. It's almost like people are trying to be divided. And as a fellow black person myself, I really don't have a dog in that fight. But
True.
I do think though it's very interesting how now some of the same people who do I dare say proverbially and sometimes literally spit in our face are now turning around and saying to us, "Hey, we need you guys to help us,"
Hey,
and that's on both sides. And that's on both sides.
hey, and this is the point I'll be making. As far as the project manager, seek out certifications.
Oh, I'm working on.
Sometimes,
I'm trying to get my PMP. I
okay,
am a cer- so I am a certified project manager. Let's do a third party type system type deal.
that's fine. That's fine.
So I'm doing that too as well. So
Look
right
at
now
other look at other
I'm sorry.
states. Look at other states that may provide your certification for cheaper. For example, one of my certifications is 1,000 something dollars in California, but 100 something dollars in Georgia.
Hmm.
So look out for that type of stuff. Don't be afraid to fly to Montana or have a Montana Zoom class to get a cheaper certification. It's still valid.
Okay. How do you feel about that? Taking you off subject. How do you feel about taking the PMP? I know you have your PMP, correct?
I had it some time ago. I never stayed up with it because I got out of that.
Gotcha.
I was in project management back in 1998.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was a project manager at the Amerismart in Georgia,
Okay.
but I got out of that, um, and it was the knowledge more so for me. The
Hmm.
certification is just for HR people to try to discredit you.
Yeah.
That's all it's really for. But the knowledge is everything, and you really want to take uh, that project manager position. And how long you been on it?
I just started.
Okay.
I just
You-
started this new job 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks
After
ago, excuse me.
after
So
after you get 10 months,
mhm.
I will start looking at. You got children?
No, no.
Okay. After 10 months, I would start looking at other management scenarios higher than what you're getting paid now, because what the new thing is using these titles to go after larger money.
It's funny you said that. I was telling someone, I was like, look, I'm the type of person, if you gave me the title of CTO, even at a startup company, even though I was making like 40,000, I would take that role just for a year, just so I can show other people, hey, at my previous job, I was doing this. I was this position here.
That's all it's
This is
about.
what, and
That's
they
all
were
it's
like, well, why can't you just take the money? It's not, sometimes you can't always, the money's not always there available at that time. So you take what you can, but you use what you got to further yourself so that you can get what you want.
My homeboy taught me that in 2009. He took less money and then trampoline into more money than what he had previously.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, what's so funny? He took a $75,000 New Orleans job, gave it to his best friend, set him up, gave it to his best friend, went to school, and then trampolined into a hospital exec job.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's what it's all about, and that's what employers are really looking at. They're looking at how you move and at each place that you move to, are you moving and advancing at a higher level?
Look, I had a meeting yesterday where somebody pointed that out about my resume, and I said, "Oh, you know what? You're right." And in my mind, I said, whether I get this opportunity to do business with these people or not, I need to change that aspect of my resume because nobody's ever brought that up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my resume looks exquisite, but there's this one factor that they wanted to see. Now, let me go back quickly because I got to start ending the stream. We have
Yeah.
46 minutes. Let me go back quickly to the Israel. Notice I'm not saying the name because I don't want to get flagged. The Israel situation. Of course, the Ayatollah Khomeini is involved in some type of way, even if it's just mentorship. Of course, he is. My point is what MOT brought up. Hamas, why even do this if you don't have the backing of Lebanon? Because you should have shot off 2 or 3 others by now. Not saying I want anybody hurt, but my point is, as being a strategic guy, why even do it if y'all not ready to take out another 1,000, another 2,000? You might as well just sat there and chilled, right? This
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of little boyish on Hamas's part and really not
Mm-hmm.
even worth it. But going back to your other point about Palestine always being there, go back to the Phoenicians. Back to the Phoenicians and the Purple Empire. Even after the Ottomans took it over, you can argue it was all type of people living there. If people want to say that is the Israel Empire since the Bronze Age, okay, but it's Israel from Moab to Gaza to all of it. So you can't have and the purpose of this video, if you scroll to the front, MC Worker, you can't have the British in 1932 pull out guns on these people and ship in 300,000 lighter skinned human beings claiming that they're Jewish. You're not letting it organically happen. And then in 1936, when they do the Arab Revolt, it wasn't against the Israel people, it was against what the British were doing. And that's what a lot of people tend to ignore. Because I watched somebody lie today. I watched Prager just start off in 1936. I watched somebody else talk about 1917. No, it's deeper than that. The people there organically got there through the Ottoman Empire. They organically got there. So why would the British come through and only handpick white Jews to ship them into the area? That's a problem. Chaos Rain, what is your last words on the topics we've discussed?
Nothing much, Mr. Research. I'm hoping to catch a replay of this. This was very insightful, informative. Like I said, I will keep up to certain current events depending on it. I always look at, as long as we're here in America, I mean, the world's always gonna be shifting and turning, and there's too many distractions and a lot of things we black men need to be doing and should be doing to better ourselves, because let's be honest, these people don't care about us. They're not going to save us. Their own purpose is to keep us in a certain stagnation, and I refuse to really be distracted on all these things that's going around. It does really have no effect on us, unfortunately. I think Amar Stoudemire, I feel the brother in a way, but he got to understand that you're a Negro. You're not, them people. If you're really living in Israel, like he claimed he does, I know you're in the lower part of their section of Israel, and you're a millionaire. that tells where your stance or where you place in the world. Get it together. Thank you.
All right. And MC Worker, what are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm with chaos. I mean, I think sometimes, like you say, we as black men, when we say certain things, we need to be able to say it in a concise and direct way that doesn't need to be going back to explaining. And when it comes to whether it's around Star Matter, I mean, like it was stated earlier, I mean, he is well off more than the vast majority of people in general, let alone black people. So with that being said, I mean, I think sometimes we just our our lens get blurred or spotted when we get to different places and higher echelons in life, which is not to knock the brother, but at the same time, it's like, hey, look, you might want to step back, look back at that mirror. It's not to say that everywhere we go, we're always going to be racially profiled, but unfortunately, being black or being a black man specifically does not have a great connotation. I mean, it's not like Jewish men are throwing their daughters at us black men. So, you know, with that being said, we we just need to focus on what is best in our best interest, and let those who have other interests let them have their own interests. And as always, thank you for allowing me on your platform.
Gonna sound crazy, but this is some real pimp talk.
You know, thank you, Mr. MC Worker. For anybody who want to contribute, you can contribute to Mr. Research at the King of Classy, or you can join the Patreon. Look, it takes a lot to give you this information at this level of the game. It's not about your feelings, about data and research. I don't care if it's not something that you care to know. You need to know it so that other people can't pull the wolf over your eyes. Thank you to Chaos Rain and MC Worker for coming up. I love to hear from the subscribers and what they think. Leave a comment in the comment section, even if it's just, hey, I like the video. Leave a comment in the comment section. It helps the algorithm get pushed to the front. Thank you so much for all the 20 people who did come through. Make sure you put something in the comment section. It helps. It helps. It helps. I'll talk to you guys in the next video, and check out some of the other videos that are uploading soon.